Today we're checking out Jiang Yanggu Wildcrafter in Oathbreaker and seeing what kind of signature spell might pair best with him. For 2 and a green, he starts at 3 loyalty. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has tap, add 1 mana of any color. -1, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. And that's it. It doesn't say anything else. This is an uncommon planeswalker, so there's not a lot of text on this guy. Therefore, it's not surprising to see Inspiring Call is the most popular signature spell, with 50% of decks using it. An instant for 2 and a green. Draw a card for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Those creatures gain indestructible till end of turn. When half of the decks are using 1 card as signature spell, you know it's good. And in a distant second place, we have Courage in Crisis, a sorcery for 2 and a green, but a +1/+1 counter on target creature, then Proliferate. I think a signature spell with Proliferate would be a great choice in this deck. I just don't think that this is the choice. I mean, Thirsting Roots proliferates for 1 less mana, Smell Fear is a fight spell with Proliferate, Unnatural Restoration returns a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand, Proliferate, and Plane-Wide Celebration, which you might be able to get to because of the static ability on our Oathbreaker. Choose 4, you may choose the same mode more than once. Create a 2/2 citizen creature token that's all colors, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand, Proliferate, you gain 4 life, so you can proliferate 4 times if you want to. To be fair, Courage in Crisis is the only one that actually puts a counter on something, so I guess maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is the best choice. It's important to remember too that we can proliferate up the counters on our planeswalkers, so that's a nice added bonus. Here's a few more signature spell options we have for getting +1/+1 counters on our creatures. The Crowd Goes Wild is a sorcery for X green with assist, meaning another player can pay up to X of this spell's cost. You choose the value of X. It has support X. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to X target creatures. Each creature with a +1/+1 counter on it gains trample until end of turn. Silk Guard, an instant for X green. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to X target creatures you control. Auras, equipment, and modified creatures you control gain hexproof till end of turn. In a pinch, you could even cast this with an X of 0 to give your creatures that have +1/+1 counters on them hexproof till end of turn. Blessing of Frost is a sorcery for 4 that I really like. Distribute X +1/+1 counters among any number of creatures you control, where X is the amount of snow mana spent to cast this spell. Then draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. And Biogenic Upgrade for 6. Distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures. Then double the number of +1/+1 counters on each of those creatures. Has tons of creatures that just come onto the battlefield with +1/+1 counters. This could be an awesome option. Granted, 6 mana is kind of a lot, but this deck might be able to pull it off because of the static ability. Speaking of which, if we're really focusing on that mana making ability, we could pick a really big signature spell, or a signature spell with X in its cost, so it's as big as we can make it. Something like Finale of Devastation, a sorcery for X green. Search your library and or graveyard for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. If X is 10 or more, creatures you control get +X/+X and gain haste until end of turn. Or similarly, Green Sun's Zenith, a sorcery for X green. Search your library for a green creature card with mana value X or less, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. That helps me out a ton. Here's a couple more Oathbreaker videos that I think you might like. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.